Hello and welcome to the Comfort Zone podcast, a podcast where we talk about moments, stories, and experiences where we have gone out of our comfort zone in a comfortable environment. So normally I do the Comfort Zone podcast in my room, on my bed, with a face mask, just chatting with the girls. But today we're in a special location. We're actually in my childhood home in the Philippines. So this is another level of comfort. This is nostalgia. And we are here today interviewing the one and only Lourdes Odette Jereza.
De Dios.
The Lourdes de Dios Jereza. Can
So
you
you know
tell
me?
them? Can you tell my listeners how we met?
Oh, we met when you were born.
And
I was at the hospital. I caught you when you were going out of your mother's womb.
so, how old were you when you had your first grandchild, me?
Oh, I was 50.
50?
I think so.
Yeah, we're 50 years apart.
Yeah.
So, Mama Lu, so today we're going to talk a little bit about some experiences where you've gone out of your comfort zone and it has benefited you or changed your life or outlook of life. But before we touch on that, can you tell us a bit about yourself? We know you ever since you were a grandma, but who is Lourdes Odette de Dios before the Jereza?
Okay. Oh yes. I'm consider myself. My grandmother called me a miracle baby because I was born on the day when the Virgin Mary appeared in Lourdes. That's 5th February 11. But mine was after wartime, 1944. So in my destiny, I was already prophesied as a girl turned into a woman to be blessed, to be a graceful servant of the church, and let's say hardworking with honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my intention in life is to see what kind of children will I have if I get married. So when I bloom into, let's say, my teenage life, I was selected as a beauty in my school, University of Southern Philippines.
A
And
beauty.
yeah, I was Miss USP in 1964.
Wow.
And after that, college, I left to work in Manila with a very big firm, American firm. I was traveling around the Philippines as a researcher. 6 years in that firm, my longtime boyfriend, Oscar June Jereza, proposed. So we got married in 1968, and the first baby we had was in 1969.
Wow, so
It's,
fast.
yeah, it's a fast world because the challenge was if I cannot produce, I'm like a producer. If I cannot produce a baby, then we separate.
Oh my God.
So I already told June that it will be 1:3, meaning one girl and three boys. And I got it. I have one girl and three boys. They grow up so fast. The girl had three boys herself. The next boy had two, boy and girl, that includes April. Then the next boy had two, and the youngest has three, one girl and two boys. So if you count the years I had from the time I was born until now that I'm 80, it's a very self fulfilling story of life. I have my ups and downs, but I can always say, career wise, I'm very much fulfilled. I work with the academy for 60 years. I'm a very strong community worker. I serve for the persons with disability and those who are misfortune. And the highest of them all is I serve the church, and Rome had, let's say, recognized this hard work in church that I was given a papal award in 2012.
Wow.
See?
Look at
It
that.
was very comfortable because my destiny has been drawn already when I was born, February 11th. So out of my comfort zone, I do a lot of things that no one would believe. In my mind, I said I'm a ballet dancer, but I can't do it because I have arthritis.
Well, you're also 80.
And I'm 80.
But
And
when
I
you were
thought,
younger, did you try to do ballet?
yeah, when I was in high school, then I also want to be a pianist. But I, my piano was the oven because we don't have piano in the house. So
So,
I'll just do my do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
can
Then I
you?
thought I will be a singer,
Oh no.
a theater.
When what happened?
I did. Only good in processions.
Do you think that the reason the majority of your grandchildren are very musical is because of you?
No, the genes that I have is not music.
Just
The
insanity.
genes I have is a collectible, weirdo, fanatic, insane, and very interesting person.
Yeah, I think all of us are a little insane.
Yeah. And that gives us that character of being interesting.
Hmm. So, um, before you met, how did you meet Papa Lou, my
Oh,
grandpa?
I was studying in university and he was also there, but we saw each other only when I was graduating in college. So our relationship was prolonged because I was working in Manila and he was working in Cebu. So in our 6th year of relationship, he decided that we have to stay put and produce our children. So that's a long engagement.
Yeah, but that's also fast. Because how long were you dating before you got engaged and married?
We didn't date
You just got married immediately.
because I was in Manila
Yeah.
and we just at the airport where he was working,
Mm.
say goodbye, hello. So there was no such thing as nothing. We just guessed. But because I'm insane, every character I portray, then he gets so challenged.
So, did you have like multiple personalities? And he's like, oh, who's
At the
Odette
ve-
going to be today?
oh yes, I'm a different woman when I'm a wife, different person when I'm an administrator in school, a different personality when I go to church, and I'm also a very compassionate social worker when I am with the community.
Yeah. Okay, so what were some of your hobbies as a child? Or what are some of your memories that you have that you can remember growing up?
My it's still here in my mind that anything I touch will turn out gold.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like King
So I want to
Midas.
be called Goldilocks. That's why in my FB it's gold, gold, because
So,
everything I touch turns to gold.
so my grandma has a really funny Facebook name. It's called Goldie Kana,
Yeah.
which is a play on Goldie Hawn.
Hmm.
But but Kana in Spanish means like white hair or gray hair.
Because my mother had white hair.
Yeah. Do you have white? You have white hair.
Yeah, but I tinted them already to come out so young. Look at me, I'm 80. But do you think I am 80 in picture?
No.
No. I just came from BLK putting on my makeup,
Um,
my tint.
Ann Curtis, BLK, please sponsor us. Our entire face is BLK.
Right.
So, when you were younger, what's a core memory growing up as a kid?
My core memory is I wash my dress in the river. I go to harvest corn. So I got all the allergies that I have. I went to the forest to gather lumber. I break the coconut because I want to have copra.
Mm-hmm.
I went to different markets to sell. Basically, when I was young, I was an entrepreneur. So when I go to school, I have peanuts in my bag for sale. I have candies. I
Like
have
me.
cookies. And then I sell it to my classmates and I eat with them.
Like me. Do you remember when I sold bunnies?
Yes.
I sold rabbits.
Yeah.
And then that was crazy. And then I would sell the cheese sticks.
And then my customers, classmate would say, you sell it to us and you also eat what you sell. And you're eating even more than us.
That's not good. That's a bad business model, Mama Lu. You're eating all of your supply. So, Um, quick question, because this is something that has come up a lot with my students, with Javi, and me living in Spain. Were you born in a hospital?
No,
No.
it was wartime. I
So,
was born in a house, and the one who brought me out is not even a midwife. He's I think he was a witch.
a witch. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. And um uh was Papa Lou born in a hospital?
Hospital, yeah.
So why was Papa Lou born in a hospital?
He's a city boy. I
City
am a
boy.
Barriolas.
Oh,
Mm.
so you live in the province or
Yeah.
the rural areas, and my grandpa lived in the city, so he was born in a hospital. Um, Another interesting question: how many degrees do you have in university?
Oh, degrees. I finished my biology major, and then I took up, let's say, masters in educational management, and I partially took up, let's say, doctoral studies,
Mm-hmm.
anthropology. That's why I love the museum,
Mm-hmm.
because I love to study the existence of men,
Mm.
and I love to see antique
And
pieces.
well, I don't know if you can tell by our background, everything is antique in your house.
Yeah.
Um, so did your parents have a university education?
My father was used to be a headmaster
Mm-hmm.
in a local academy. My mom has only an education of elementary,
Mm-hmm.
but she's a very good seamstress.
Oh.
She sew my dresses, everything. She's a very good seamstress,
And
and I think
mhm.
she's very intelligent. That's where my insanity comes, because it's a very thin line.
But everybody says that Lola Galik was very calm and sweet, and that
Calm, sweet, happy.
Mama Lu, you're not calm.
I'm a tiger. I kill people when they don't work. I have two personalities. I I, I I'm very strict, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also kind.
Yeah.
So I see people as the source of production, energy, initiative, let's say direction. But if they are lousy and they are lazy, I think I have to distance, or else I'm
Mm-hmm.
bored out.
And also, Papa Lu, did his parents have a university degree?
Both.
Both of them.
His father was an engineer
Mm-hmm.
and his mother was a teacher.
And our my great grandparents, I assume they also had university degrees.
Not sure.
Well, Lolo Agustin went to university.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. So, because that's very interesting, because a lot of my students, I ask them if their parents have a degree. Some say yes, some say no. So some people have their parents have a university degree. I ask them, did your grandparents have a university degree? And majority of them say no.
Hmm.
Can you speak? Because for those of you who don't know, one of my grandma's many vocations in life is education. And she has been an educator for the majority, how many years?
60.
60 years she's been an educator. So, can you speak about how important education is? Because if you, even just like my boyfriend Javi, neither his parents have a university degree. His mom only has elementary, just like your mom. And so, can you speak to the importance of education?
Okay. Let's define education. All of us are educated. All of us. We're created by God. We have the gift of reason, thinking, and surviving. What we do in education is some are formal, some are informal. So when you say into formal, you go into degree, a bachelor, a level of education that is ladderized, and that's to us is education. But to me, even your experiences in life is good enough to be educated. And what is the difference? There are so many great people who did not go to universities. They're very successful in their lives, in their career, in their business, even if they have not finished their formal education, because they have the gut, they have the gift,
Mm-hmm.
they dare, the unknown. And so if you talk of education, we include the experiences that you learn every day.
Yeah.
So you learn lessons as you live
Mhm.
every day.
So, in terms of formal and informal education,
Mhm.
how do you think a formal education can change someone's life?
Well, with the global
Mm-hmm.
demand for employment, it is important because the world now is technology.
Yeah.
The informal education is more on experience, feelings,
Mm-hmm.
lessons. But if you go to formal, you have to be highly technical.
Yeah.
That is what you call a class A education,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you can access the computer, you know how to, let's say, explore the computer, navigate the computer, which to me, look at me. You call me educated, but when my grandson will come over, he's better than me.
Mama, I think everybody knows how to use the computer now.
I don't even know how to use my cell phone. I don't know how to put on the TV. What's the matter? So I'm technically handicapped.
So, you were born post wartime or during wartime?
44, and then as I got on post, on the wartime and post.
And well, you were still a baby, but do you kind of remember the war or the effects of the war in the Philippines?
I could always surmise that the effects of war in the Philippines turned out to be a challenge to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We went through a lot of killings and death and abuse. So, with that experience alone, all of us were trying to get that empowerment to survive, to better our lives through hard work.
Mm-hmm.
We have overcome that.
Yeah.
Before, it used to be that we dislike, let's say, races like Japanese, Spanish, but now it turned out to be, let's say, a benefit to us because we know how to cope crisis,
Mm-hmm.
we know how to solve problems, we know how to address, let's say, different kinds of situation. We are strengthened
Mm-hmm.
by the, let's say, different challenges that we.
And so, aside from one of your vocations as being an educator, you mentioned that you're really interested in social work, and I think that's one thing that I'm also very interested in because let me bring you back to when I was 12 or 13 years old. I vividly remember going to your room, you and Papa Lou's room, because I would sleep in your room to save on aircon, and I asked if I could watch Wizards of Waverly Place. You said no. Watch this documentary on human trafficking. Trauma. And then I think from a young age, you kind of like put all of those things in our brains.
I influenced you.
Mm-hmm.
I really want you to learn that what success you have in life cannot be not enough if you cannot help
Mm-hmm.
your brother and sister or neighbor that are oppressed, that are unfortunate, impoverished. So let's say if I can help, let's say a poor community through my own initiative, and a year after I can see that their lives are being, let's say, elevated to a level that is worth calling human, then that's my happiness.
Can you speak a little bit about some of your foundations or your projects? Because I remember when we were young, you had Cradle of Love, which is an orphanage, specifically, if I'm correct, for children with mental problems. And then I remember specifically that orphanage unfortunately had to close down, and we had two girls living here in this house with us. Can you tell us about
My
that?
my attraction to help is this. I will start first with the babies that are born with disability. So that's why I have an organization, foundation, the persons with disability, and the organization is existing until now. From the hearing impaired to poor eyesight to those who cannot walk, non-ambulatory, and for those who are mentally challenged. I still have it. The next is I have a group of children that are abused
Mm-hmm.
below 18
The
or
Girls
sometimes,
Center.
yeah,
I
so
remember
girl
this one.
center. And then I also have the orphanage for those, let's see, infants, that were thrown on the street and the garbage can, abandoned by their
Mm-hmm.
parents. So, and the last that I did, which created, let's say, a big issue here, is when I look after the welfare of the drug defender.
Mm.
So no one, everybody almost tell that they are a menace to society, that they are criminals. But to me, I intervene and raise up their dignity and say, you are just a victim of a vice. You
Mm-hmm.
still have your God to protect you. So I think I'm being recognized.
So how were you able to support or provide help to those drug addicts or drug users?
I I did not do it singly.
Mm-hmm.
It was a collaborative effort that has been put into a desk on the table by some donors. So I had with let's say donorship from the States, from London, from local NGOs to help me rehabilitate drug dependent.
And for example, your orphanage, the girl center, women's center, how are you able to create these centers or these projects? Do you have Are you able to get, is it private? Is it funded by the government?
Mhm. So if you will look back, I conceptualize, the idea is there. I draw up a program, and then I float it and send proposals to companies. And there, when they visit the area, and they always give me some donation.
Mhm.
So it does not come from my pocket. It is, let's say, I manage it, but some donors plow it to the implementation of the project.
Mhm. Okay. So, can you share with the listeners a specific moment or a story experience where you went out of your comfort zone and either you were better for it or worse for it?
Every time I do community work, I'm out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Very recently, I was with the elderly, giving them food. So I came out as an elderly with a cane and also being fed by you. And then sometimes
I was feeding the
I
elderly.
I really transcend from where I am. So when I am in a community where they have no education, I always immerse myself into the place. It's like empathy that I put myself into the shoes of those who need services. So I'm not in my comfort zone, because if I were in my comfort zone, I will be seated in my own desk office with an air conditioner. No,
Yeah,
I go out
field
and
work.
yeah,
And um now let's pivot a little bit. So we talked a little bit of your education, your professional life, your vocations. Let's talk a little bit about your family because we you met we met when I was born because I am your granddaughter. How many So you have 4 children, 10 grandchildren. What do you remember about raising 4 kids?
oh,
Who was the easiest? Who was the
I am the
hardest?
killer. I'm the tiger. The papalo, your grandfather, has few words.
Yeah.
He will only intervene when I cannot have it anymore. I'll tell you a story of your father.
Oh, my
So
father.
it was his birthday. So we secretly gave him a bicycle for his birthday. And that was a saving for us. And then we gave it to him in the morning of his birthday. The following day, it was gone.
He lost his bike.
And he said he lost his bike. So we're so upset why he lost his bike. So your papalo said, you will only tell us the truth. Now you kneel. So there was a bin in his stool, and spread your arm in front of the altar. He was, where is your bicycle? Long time he said, I lost it. I don't know where I put it. I parked it there, and someone get, no, you are hiding. You tell us the truth. And your dad said, I gave it to my classmate because he's very poor. He lives in barracks. He walks every day, 2 kilometers a day. So I gave him my bicycle. So your father
Mm-hmm.
is as compassionate as me.
That's a surprise. I'm getting. But so he gave his bicycle away. Interesting.
One day, right, a bicycle. How about you? I gave you a ring for your communion, was it?
Yeah.
It was there at the start of the mass. After the mass, it's gone.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I didn't give it to a poor classmate. It was just gone. I just lost it. No, I think like when I remember when I was telling my classmates this. This is my core memory. So when we were younger, we were members of this hotel called Montebello, and I didn't have a very good concept of money. I didn't understand that if you were a member, eventually you have to pay. Because every time we went there, we would order food and we just sign. Like we didn't exchange any bills, we didn't pay anything. So I thought everything was free.
See?
and then
And we were bleeding.
and then I started to take ballet classes in Montebello, and I would invite all of my friends and classmates for lunch, and I would just sign my name.
As if.
I suppose it was free because I thought it was free. And I remember Papa Lou was like, "Why is my Montebello bill so high?" But that's because I didn't know that eventually someone had to pay for it, and I was treating all of my friends for lunch every time we had ballet class. But so, who do you think was your easiest and most difficult child?
Among the four, one girl and three boys, the one that has a scar on his eyebrow is Brian
Oh, yeah.
because he's a troublemaker. So I bang his head on and it hits the doorknob.
Oh,
That's why he has a scar here.
oh no.
But the one that they really, shall we say, abuse is David. The two boys always say, David, do this. When I say, can you get it, Brian? David, get it. When I ask Oogie, Oogie, can you do this for me? And he will say, David, give it to mommy. It's always David who runs around.
And Tita Met?
And he does not even complain. Tita Mitz has a very interesting story because she was all surrounded with boys. Even in school, she was an officer of a military training. So she was a boyish, and we were so frustrated because she's the only one. But she moves like a boy. Not until someone, because she's tall, said, why don't we make her as a model because she's tall? And I said, how can you model someone who is all boyish? And then she transformed into a girl, particular on makeup, hairdo, and then in her final, the grandfather, everybody was looking, where is Macy in that fashion show? Nobody would recognize her because she transformed into a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
She's very boyish before.
Yeah, well, she had four. She's the oldest, and she had four brothers. So, how about your grandchildren? Any funny memories with you and your
You're all
grandchildren?
funny.
I know.
You're all
I'm the
queer.
funniest.
You're all collectibles. Each one of you has a distinct character that would amuse me. Every time I predict something, I said, there he goes, there she goes. I can predict your style. But every time I tell Luigi, you're my favorite,
Ah,
Luigi will say, you tell it to everybody.
I know. She tells me that I'm her favorite,
Well,
and then she tells them that they're her favorite.
but to you, the favoritism I had for you, yes. Because you're distant from the family and you're all alone.
Mm,
That's the only point that you survived.
yeah.
And you're the most expenditure. Expenditure.
Expensive. I'm not the most expensive.
No.
No, definitely not.
Okay, we're done. I'm sleepy.
Okay. Last thing.
Run. Oh.
So, um,
Hmm.
normally I start the podcast with a little skincare. I end the podcast talking about something that puts me in my comfort zone, which is TV shows and movies. So I like to do a little comment on a TV show or movie that we have watched recently. And a TV show and movie that we have watched recently was Society of the Snow. So tell us in a couple words what your thoughts were about.
Ah, I have mixed emotions because the disaster was really very depressing, but the heroic deeds and the surviving techniques that they had was really God sent. In spite of the, let's say, different kinds of challenges they have, uh, giving up their existence, their life,
Mhm.
and even consuming the flesh of their friends. That to me was the highest virtue of survival. And in the end, they were triumphant.
Mhm.
That's so impressive. But as you go through the steps of the movie, you go into a kaleidoscope of emotion. Here you're scared, then you're then you get sad, depressed, and then when they are you are relieved again, then you go up, and then when they have an avalanche, go down. So it's a really up and down of
Mhm.
emotions. Thank God they were able to.
Would you
I
eat
don't
to
want
your
to watch it.
friends?
I want to watch it again.
You want to watch it again?
No,
Oh my!
it's so depressing.
I've watched it like 4 times.
No more.
I love this movie. I'm obsessed with this movie. Would you eat your friends to survive if you were
Who
in their
knows?
situation?
Who knows?
You think maybe? I think I would
Maybe.
too. I think I would too.
Because it was like tapa already. It was like frozen.
Yeah. Anyways, to end the podcast, do you have any final words for our listeners?
Okay. Since I am now in the age of wisdom, my final word is life is such a beautiful experience. Even if you are, let's say, lost, but you are not forsaken. Even if you are hopeless,
Mhm.
you are being embraced. Even if you are abused, you can always hope. See,
Mhm.
that's life. Look at it in a very bright manner, it will happen because there is someone looking after you. You're not alone.
Okay, last question. What can we look forward to in the next decade of your life?
Take it more. I will die.
Stop it!
I
Don't say
will.
that.
I will be your guardian angel in heaven.
Now you're gonna live for another decade.
Oh, no more. I cannot even walk anymore. I have my human cane over there. I have my let's say mouthpiece over here. I have my bodyguard sleeping. Oh, no more. I'm so contented with life. Really.
Okay, so thank you everybody for
Thank you. It
for
was
listening.
it was a very interesting talk. And at my age, I have to sleep and relax and wake up fresh.
Okay, go to sleep.
When can I see?
Okay.
Bye.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode of The Comfort Zone with Lourdes Odette de Dios Jereza, aka
No,
my
you have to
grandma.
say Mama Lu.
With Mama Lou, my grandma.
Hmm.
Um, this was a special episode because I'm here in the Philippines. If you enjoyed this, please follow our podcast and follow us on Instagram. I will see you in the next episode.
Flash the surroundings. Flash. Take a picture.
Okay. No, Mama Lou, the camera's there.
Ah.